Oh, I'm so excited to talk about the intersection of like American folk music with classical music. Like, can we touch on that super briefly?
I absolutely, we
Okay.
can. I don't know what you just said, but we can totally
Okay,
touch
great.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you want.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know,
Unique New York. Unique New York. What?
I have so much sugar in my throat from drinking cider.
know.
I'm like,
I know, and I'm a little buzzed.
me too.
Are
This is
you?
gonna be great.
Okay, it's-
Yeah.
This will be perfect.
This needs to be in the like put that part in for sure.
Okay. All right. So here we are. We're recording now. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Here we go. This episode is nope, not that.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, beloved patrons. How are you today? You might recall from, I don't know how long ago, that I did a show called The Music of Addressing Gettysburg, on which I featured the songs recorded for our narrative episodes by Sarah Larsen and a couple of other ones from the Federal City Brass Band, I think, and, whatever. The music that people have donated to the narratives. That's what I'm talking about. If you're a new patron and you haven't gone that far back yet, you might want to go back and listen to it. It's pretty cool. But finally, after all these years of begging, cajoling, bargaining, coaxing, and all other words that mean those things, we have with us for an interview the one and only Sarah Larsen. Sarah Larsen, ladies and gentlemen.
Snap, 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 baby. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast, Matt. It goes
Sarah,
without saying what a
please.
huge fan I am of you and the
course.
podcast
Of
and the crew.
course.
So
Naturally, and we are all fans of yours, and the listeners love the music that you've done, particularly Bear Waltz. And before we get into Bear Waltz, let's get into you.
Okay.
Okay? Who are you, Sarah Larsen? Go.
All right. So, hi, my name is Sarah. So, I grew up on Lake Michigan in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I grew up playing classical music.
Okay.
My mother's a pianist, and I asked for violin lessons when I was a very little girl. I was like 3, I think, and
So music is in your house growing up,
yes.
and what makes you decide that you want to ask for violin lessons?
I don't remember because it was before my brain was making memories. It's
Good,
kind of
yeah.
cool to have like a skill set that existed before your brain was
Before you knew
tracking memories.
what was going on.
Like
Yeah,
that's really
yeah.
cool. So,
Yeah, that is cool.
But I, the way my dad tells the story, my dad is not a musician at all, but the way he tells it, I was watching TV and there was an orchestra on TV, and I asked my mom to if I could take lessons, or I asked him, I asked somebody, and she didn't want to give them to me. She thought I was too little, and my dad said, well, let her try. So they signed me up for Suzuki violin lessons, which didn't last very long. But there was this wonderful German lady in Green Bay when I was growing up named Fiorella Link, and I took lessons with her.
What's her name?
Fiorella Link.
Fiorella.
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 Okay, Fiorella Link.
Yeah,
That's a great
and
name.
she's actually spawned like a whole bunch of fabulous professional violinists. I mean, my best friend that I grew up playing violin with is the assistant concertmaster in Seoul now. He lives in South Korea, which
Nice.
is super cool. And another friend of ours went to the Manhattan School of Music. So like there was this weird little crop of amazing violinists that like sprung out of her studio. So I was with her for a while, and then she moved to Germany, and then I just started studying with very like Western classical, violin teachers. But when I went to college, I got like super disenfranchised with the whole like classical diaspora. Like I kind of
Wait. Hold on. Classical what?
diaspora,
What is that word?
like the school in which I was studying, the dogma. Like I
Okay,
just kind of
okay.
like. Maybe I should have used the word dogma. I don't know. I just kind of got like
Just remember when you're picking words from here on out that you're dealing with an idiot. So
No, you're not the idiot. I'm
Yes,
sure.
I am.
I'm sure. So I was like super disenfranchised with the whole like structure of Western classical music. But I started playing like,
do you mean disenchanted?
Exactly.
Okay.
Disenfranchised.
Okay. So you're disenchanted with the whole. Why?
I wanted out. Is the bottom line.
Okay. It's too constricting.
Yes,
constraining.
honey. It was like all about being in this tiny little room and working on technique all the time. And I've always been a soul player. Like I've always just like wanted to play for my soul.
Right. And this is what I was telling you before, right? You have heart. You play with feeling.
Yes.
And that moves people more than someone who's sitting down and reading Beethoven off of a page and playing.
This is what we were talking about.
This is what we were talking about.
When we were drinking earlier. Sorry, I've not told everybody that.
Yeah. I guess we should probably start with that. We had been to Plowman Cider's 5-year anniversary event at the Apple. What is it? The National Apple Museum in Biglerville, and it was great. Sarah was you're basically the what was it?
I was the artist at large.
Artist at large. And so she started off the show, and then she got up and jammed with the other acts.
With all the other bands.
Yeah, and it was really fun, and it was really good, and it was nice to see you up there.
It's so nice to be out playing music. Well, and so this is why I kind of got away from classical music because I wanted to find a universe where I could just like express myself a little bit more singularly instead of like operating within a certain set of rules.
Yeah.
But the cool thing was, I'm like a junior in college and I start playing with a rock band. And then I started playing with this string quartet that was commissioning a whole bunch of new music. So we were contacting composers and getting grants and giving composers money to write pieces for us that we would then get paid to play, which was super great. We got to play at Carnegie Hall twice, which was like amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in Philly and Pennsylvania, like that whole universe between Pennsylvania, like Southern Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland has a super rich tradition of bluegrass. So I just kind of like fell into playing traditional music. But it made sense to me because I was actually a music history major and violin performance major in college. And I'd always loved folk music.
Yeah.
And the intersection between like folk music and art music was fascinating to me.
I don't really know. I guess my first introduction to bluegrass was the soundtrack of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," which I was saying before. And I mean, I'm like, oh, this is good. It moves me, but not like I wasn't like pursuing an interest in bluegrass. But it wasn't until I met you and I've come to see some of the shows that you've done and seen you perform with other musicians, and then I get bluegrass. Like, it's almost like you have to watch it being played.
Well, and you have to like the next step beyond that, which I'm trying to convince you to step into, is like you have to participate in it. So the cool thing about bluegrass, like we were talking about, it's like 3-chord music.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you can play like a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord, you can usually hang on to like 70% of the songs at a bluegrass jam.
Because most of them are in G.
Yeah, or just like get your folk music clamp. Just get your magical, your capo. Your magical folk music clamp and move it around because that's what everybody does. And the music is like really founded on these licks. So like...
Yeah, it's the licks, not the chords that scare me. It's the licks and the rhythm.
So it's really... So I've been... It's funny that you say that. I was trying to explain what licks were to a friend of mine, and it's not like a lick, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that because this microphone sounds so good. That's an extra special thing just for you guys. So a lick in music is a pattern of notes that you can transpose into multiple keys. And that's the cool thing about bluegrass music is you have these little patterns, and banjo players have their certain patterns, fiddle players have their patterns, mandolin players, and then we all kind of like borrow patterns from each other.
Okay.
And that's what makes bluegrass music so fun.
Yeah.
So I mentioned to you I've been hanging out with this guy, Ricky Simpkins, a lot, and Ricky's a super storied bluegrass fiddle player, and I've been going over to his house every week for like the last 6 or 7 weeks, and we sit down and play fiddle together. So this past week he showed me this one lick that he plays, and it was just like the most. Are you looking at my fiddle like you want me to play it?
I'm sorry. Keep talking.
Okay.
I'm just gonna cut this part out that we're talking. Just keep talking. I got to turn the heat back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So So I've been hanging out with Ricky Simpkins, this really storied bluegrass fiddle player, and I've been going over to his house every 6 weeks, and we've been hanging out and playing fiddles together. And he showed me this one particular lick that's just amazing, and it has to do with contrary motion. So it's like the top of the voice is moving down, but the bottom of the voice is moving up at the same time. And he showed it to me, and then immediately I just started transposing it into all of these other songs, and it was great. Like it was this super like practical application that I could just like drop into anything. It was awesome.
So, do you find that like playing with other players is a better way to learn than sitting with an instructor going, okay, now do this, do these 4 measures?
Yes, but as a teacher, I am always playing when I'm teaching. So my style of teaching is that I'm constantly playing with my students.
Good.
Like I play my fiddle. I teach 4 days a week, and on those days, I probably have my fiddle in my hands like an average of 5 hours a day. And I teach probably like 6 hours a day. So
I remember they always used to say, music education is important in schools because music students do better in math, and I never did better in math because of my music classes. I was horrible at math regardless. Anything above a 16th note, I said, just play it for me and I'll mimic it.
yeah, but I mean, it's very rare that you actually have anything faster than a 16th note, like in the real world.
Well, but if you're soloing, you can.
You can. I didn't play anything faster than a 16th note today. Like, I don't think I did. I didn't play very fast.
You had
today.
one run in one of your solos, which was really good because you went like up the scale. You went like,
Did I just like slide my finger up? Was I just like, meow?
No. You went like, like you went
Listen,
through.
there's more than one way to skin a cat, okay?
And you've skinned them all. But no, so but that was the thing. Like I learned better when I sat and jammed with someone who knew a bit more than I did, and then I would say, "What is that? What did you just play?" And then they would be like, "Oh, this," and then I'd be like, "Yeah. How do you do that?"
Right.
And then you can move that to any key. Once you learn it in one key, you can do it in any key.
So we have to have another conversation in front of people because we had it earlier today. But remember when I was telling you about how when I go to a bluegrass festival, I don't want to stay too long at any one jam. I want to circulate around,
move
right?
Around.
So
you're a part-time lover, we call it.
I am constantly learning from people who play music, even if they are not as technically proficient as I am.
Sure,
and
of course.
This was like so when I was playing classical music, it was very like highfalutin. Like I had this very inflated opinion of who was good and who was bad. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that music is a language for all people. And so you will learn something from somebody who is not as technically proficient as you are.
Right.
And the minute that you realize that, your ego will go away.
Exactly.
And so that's like when I go to any kind of jam or bluegrass festival, I'm never discontent because I always feel like I'm learning something from anybody I'm playing with.
Even if someone is not technically proficient, I think that's like a breeding ground for ingenuity and creativity and stuff. And they feel something in them.
Absolutely.
But they don't have the technical whatever to get it out. And so they maybe fake it and come up with something that a technically trained person might not have come up with.
Definitely. Well, and sometimes that inability is a willful thing. Mm-hmm. Like I got into a jam session I live in Annapolis on my boat, and I live at this marina. And there's a gentleman.
She lives on a boat, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a gentleman there because I can't afford a house in Annapolis.
Don't say that. It's a yacht. She lives on a yacht.
I do. I live on the smallest possible yacht that you could have.
Yes. It's the yacht that was built by Fiddles.
Exactly.
Right.
It was the yacht that Fiddles bought.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes. Sorry.
So
Too much cider.
I was sorry, but like not.
No,
so
it was
I was
delicious.
Wandering around the marina with my beautiful dog Ranger. Taking her out to go potty. And I ran across the gentleman who sells catamaran sailboats out of the marina that I live at. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know what catamarans are, they're these big, like 40 to 60 foot long, double hulled sailboats. They're huge. They're enormous.
What is the point of that? I've always wondered.
So it's like they're super stable.
Are
They're
they?
really stable,
Okay.
and people like them for island hopping in the Bahamas. So folks who are retiring love to get those, and then they sail them down the coast, and then they just go island hopping like in the Caribbean, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice life, doesn't it?
Sounds like a fantastic
Can we
life.
start a GoFundMe? Like, how
Yeah,
do we-
really. I know, man. What a way, especially as a retiree, like what a way to end your life, right?
Absolutely.
Like just doing something like that.
Absolutely.
But
So-
I don't want to wait till then. Let's do it now.
I know, we
I like this GoFundMe idea.
guys, we're counting on your support. So
Please.
this
support us.
gentleman invited me in to play music. He was listening to music, and I was like, "Oh, I love the music that you're listening to." And he was listening to like cello, like classical cello music,
Okay.
and I recognized all the songs. He was listening to like unaccompanied Bach and stuff. He said, "Come in and have a drink. We're decorating our Christmas tree, and we'd love to have you and Ranger come and sit with us." So we went in, visited with him and his wife and all his employees for a while at their Christmas party, and he had like a pile of guitars sitting in the corner. And I said, "Why don't we play some music together? Like, do you like to play?" He's like, "Yeah, but I don't know anything about playing music." I was like, "Well, just like play something and I'll follow along with
Right.
you. Like I know enough to get by,
Yeah.
barely."
Yeah. No, you do.
And it was funny because he was playing all these really beautiful, intricate shapes. And I was like, my God, like imagine how powerful you would be if you could communicate what you were doing to somebody else so that you could then join together and make music. Like that would be lovely.
Right. Yeah.
So, but he did not want to build his vocabulary on that form.
Yeah, that's a shame because it's such a good feeling to be able to find someone that you musically click with and then can play together.
Yeah.
And it's rare. It's very hard to find that. But
It
if
is.
you can, it's a great. It's almost better than finding your spouse.
It is indeed that whole like soulful connection. I used to play music with a band called Mason Porter that's based just up north from here. They're like a Kennett Square, like Westchester based band, and I played on two of their records. We played together for 2 years, and that was like one of the most satisfying musical experiences I've ever had.
Yeah. So let's fast forward a little bit to how you got involved with our show.
Yes, please. That would be a great story to tell. I'm going to steal one of your Altoids.
Sure, give me one if you don't mind. I've got cider breath.
I have yeah, definitely. I have cider and cigarette breath. That's so gross.
God. So
Please cut that out.
okay, let me mark it. There we go. Okay. So we 3 years ago we met.
You and I met. I was coming through with my RV and Ranger.
And you rented a bike.
I rented an electric bicycle from
Yes,
you.
you did. And
Like an hour before you were closing.
Exactly. And you came back late.
Absolutely.
And you felt bad, and so you invited me to dinner, and you made tacos.
Made tacos and we drank beer.
We drank beer.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
And Ranger loved you, my dog.
I love your dog.
Yes.
And so I got to talking with you, and you were talking about how you played bluegrass and everything. And at the time, I was still I'd finished my first episode of the narrative episodes, and I wanted to get more music that was that I wouldn't have any copyright violations for.
Right.
And so
This is all making sense now.
Yes. So I either do that by someone like we use brass bands, and I know someone who is the director of a Civil War brass band, and have a CD, and I said, would you let me use the music? And he said, sure, and he sent me CDs, and I was like, great, and I credit them and everything. But to me, you can't do the Civil War without a violin, maybe a guitar, and a banjo or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you did. And then one time you came up in your camper, and we recorded some songs in the camper. And one of those songs, among many, but one of those songs is a song called Bear Waltz. Mm-hmm. And so let me tell you why I glommed onto that one really quickly, because I've been wanting to have, like Ken Burns' The Civil War is basically the inspiration for how I do the narratives. I basically rip him off. Mm-hmm. And the theme song to that, which was very popular, was not a Civil War song. Everybody thought it was a Civil War song.
It wasn't.
But
It was
no.
written by Jay Unger.
That's right.
And he and Ken Burns are great friends. And he called up Jay and said, could you please give me something? And Jay went over to his big trunk of fiddle tunes and reached down at the bottom and pulled out a Shokin Farewell and gave it to him.
Yeah. And it's beautiful.
It is. And I love that song has become a standard within our repertoire, and people love it and they know it and they ask for it, which is so awesome. Like, it's so rare that people, I mean, it's like, what's the song from Oh Brother, We're Out There? I'm a Man of Constant Sorrow.
Yeah.
And people ask for that, and I'm never upset when they do. I don't like it when people ask for Wagon Wheel, but I'm never upset when people ask for Constant Sorrow, because it's like, if you know that, like, that's great.
Wagon Wheel annoys me.
Well, Darius Rucker ruined it. We can all agree with that.
Is that how that happened?
Yeah.
It just annoys me.
I know.
Because, like, frat boys like it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, and they don't like Ashokan Farewells.
No.
We can give
F them. So, okay. So I was like, I have to have my Ashokan Farewell. Mm-hmm. But I don't know anybody to call on for that.
And then it was like, pew.
And then you came out of nowhere. And so I didn't know you had Bear Waltz ahead of time.
Right.
But we just said, well, you know, come on up and let's record something. So you did. And
Didn't I send it to you or something? Oh, I thought I had sent it to you and you were like, I like this and I want it.
Nope.
Okay.
It was during the recording. You were just warming up. Mm-hmm. No, you weren't warming up. You said to Danny, you said, why don't we do Bear Waltz? Mm-hmm. Or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you didn't do it, but you kept bringing it up. And finally I said, what is this Bear Waltz you're talking about? Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, it's just a song I wrote. And I go, well, play it. And you played it. And like 4 notes into it, I was just like, that's it. I have to have that song. And so then we recorded it.
Yes.
And people love that song.
Yeah.
They do. They love that song. And I told you before, like, I will actually sit here working on something and I'll just put it on loop.
That makes me feel so good.
Because it is, I told you that the melody of it is, what did I say, mature. It shows a maturity, a musical maturity, a sophistication that is not there with everybody I've ever encountered in music. And so that's why I really liked it. But then the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, you know what it is? It's just, I feel like it's a window into your soul. And if I'm seeing it correctly, then I want to propose marriage to you, because that is a soul I want to know all the way through.
Well, I have to tell you the story of how this song came about. Can I tell the story?
Please do.
I don't think I've ever told it before
Not
in
on
public.
public,
but
you
never.
told me.
Yeah, I told you. So I wrote this song for my former partner, Danny, and we'd been dating for about a year or so, and then we split up for a little bit. And I was so incredibly lonely. And I would sit, I had kind of ignored my fiddle for a while.
Yeah.
Because she can be a demanding mistress. And sometimes when I enter into a relationship, I can't always give her all the attention she needs. I can take her out, I take her out for the night and I play gig on her and I like let her dance. I dress her up. I put her high heels on. And I say, go for a walk. All right, come on back. Time to go home. But I don't really allow her the opportunity to like express herself fully. So when we were on this break, all of a sudden, I found myself very lonely and I went racing back to her and she was like,
So
welcome back to the fold. Come on in here. Let me hold you. You hold me actually, but
hold me.
Hold me and let me like comfort you.
Yeah. Hold me, Sarah. Hold me. I've missed you so much.
It's so true. It's so true. But that song was really born out of loneliness. And it's funny,
It sounds lonely, which
is.
I think is why I liked it for a Civil War podcast.
That's why it's fitting for the Gettysburg podcast, because it is desperately lonesome. Can you imagine anything lonelier?
No. I mean, really, when I listen to it and I'm listening to it and I think of, and I put it maybe in a context of, a soldier missing his home or his mother missing him or his wife or sister or whoever missing him back at home. It's very sad and lonesome sounding. And but you put it in 3/4.
Right. It's a waltz.
Which, of course, is a waltz, so it should be in 3/4. But, normally songs in 3/4, I'm trying to think of songs in 3/4 that have, like, moved me to chills or tears, and there's very few of them.
Well, so popular music doesn't have a lot of songs in 3/4. And the other thing about Bear Waltz is the harmony is so hazy. Like, if you don't know... And this was like a point of contention with people I've tried to play this song with. We're not going to mention any names. But like, if you don't know exactly what chords you're supposed to be playing, it can be difficult to get through, and you get frustrated because it's a very like haunting, specific kind of sound.
Yeah.
And the harmony doesn't make a ton of sense. Like the way the chords are ordered, it doesn't really follow like a standard procedure.
What are the chords to that song? I was trying to figure it out the other day.
So it kicks off on an F sharp minor, and then A to D, G, D.
F sharp minor, A, D,
G, D.
G, D.
And here's the reason that you like this song so much for specifically your podcast as it relates to the Ken Burns thing.
Go ahead.
That tune is in the key. So it kicks off on the F sharp minor, but it is in the key of D, as is Ashokan Farewell.
Right.
So it's a waltz in the key of D like Ashokan, but it's like it starts from a much hazier place. And I really do see it as like you're sitting on a hilltop and the clouds are clearing kind of song.
Yeah.
You're like in a clouded mist.
Yeah. It reminds me in some parts of it of like something that would be in maybe like Braveheart. Like it's a very Scottish feel to it in the way you kind of bend the notes and slide into other notes. And was that a conscious thing, or is that just the way it came out?
I think it's kind of just the way that I play. And it's funny, like like I mentioned, I've been hanging out with this guy, Ricky Simpkins, this great bluegrass fiddle player, and he has been teaching me these tunes and really encouraging me to do more of that blue note playing where you kind of like slide into stuff or you play these like flattened notes that give it this crazy, like kind of colorful sound.
In fact, you did that with, I think you did that with the song that you did with Rebecca today. What the hell's the name of that song?
Is it Baby Now That I Found You?
Baby, now that I found you, I can let And it sounds like you flattened a note.
Well, that also might have been because I was trying to figure out where the heck I was.
Well, but it sounded on purpose.
Well, good, awesome, so thrilled.
Because you repeated it. You did it more than once.
Okay, all right,
So then
good.
I was like, oh man, that's pretty good. And then it made it sound bluegrassy or bluesy.
Well, and so one of the things that I love teaching my students in their playing, like I teach them a very straight melody, but I love teaching them how to get out of that.
Yeah.
And more importantly, giving them like the theoretical tools to get out of that. So when you're listening to blues music, you'll find that like no matter which key the song is in, you'll hear certain tones that always sound blue. And it's because certain notes within the scale are getting dropped down. And like I love teaching that technique to my students.
There's nothing better to me, music-wise, than anything that has at least one foot still in the blues. Like R&B or bluegrass. And bluegrass and blues are so similar and they're related. And
they are.
They
really
historically
are.
and culturally and everything like that. And I'm really getting more into it the more I hang around you and the more I go and see you play, because there's just something about watching people play in bluegrass.
Well, I want to hijack
addictive.
you for the Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival. That is always a fun hang.
Yeah, I've yet to go to, and they do like 2 a year, don't they?
Yeah, there's one in May and then there's one in August.
I feel like a real schlub because I've never been to one, and I've been living here for 8 years total. So
it is fun, and I always teach the Kids Academy there. So like I'm a teacher there. But I get to like, hang out and play a lot of music too. And like the cool thing about going to a bluegrass festival, like if you're a hobbyist musician, or even if you just like are dying for a constant musical experience, is you camp and then you just walk around and everybody's jamming.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you like, you got like your beer in your right hand and you just like walk up and you're like,
fiddle
hey
in your
guys,
left.
Yeah, in my case, I've got like a vodka tonic and a fiddle. But you just like walk up and hang out with people and like learn from them, which is so cool.
My problem is though, like because my instrument is piano. You can't walk around with a piano.
No, nobody can walk around with a piano. I've never seen anybody.
No, a very strong person if they did. But like,
Sign me up.
yeah. I'll switch teams.
All right. Absolutely.
But no, seriously though, let's stop fucking around. Seriously. So what my problem would be is if I went to one of those things, I would have to pick up an instrument. Like I would have to get proficient with an instrument before going.
Learn 3 chords on the guitar.
I understand this, what you're saying. It's not the chords. I know the chords. I could do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mechanics of it all.
Oh, the
It's-
right hand.
I'm not I'm good with my hands with the piano. I used to originally I was a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And then piano is very similar. Guitar, though, what happens with me, and it's like I was talking with Rebecca before when we first met in the parking lot with her, using a pick, I end up just dropping it in the hole of the guitar. And so it's easier for me to use my fingers because I could feel them. I feel like I have more control over which string I hit and all that stuff.
Well, my dear friend Danny Paisley, who just won Male Vocalist of the Year with the IBMA, which is a huge honor, and
The what?
Male Vocalist of the Year with the International Bluegrass Music Association.
Of course,
it's a huge honor, and he has been like a great mentor to me. Like every time we're in the same place, he's like, "Get up here and sing some songs with me, like play some fiddles with the band." Blah. He's oh my god, he's the best. He plays with a thumb pick. And there is a weird school of bluegrass rhythm players who play with a thumb pick, and it's all just downstrokes. There's no upstrokes. So it's just like boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, not boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, which is like super cool. So the neat thing about playing folk music is you can kind of just play it however you want. And if you drop your pick, then play with your fingers.
Yeah, well.
That's the way that works.
Or just start playing with your fingers and forget the pick. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, I think that it looks fun. It doesn't look like people are just making it up as they go. Like there's definitely a formula. There's definitely a way. I don't know the proper word, but there is a way to play bluegrass music.
But how will you ever learn the formula if you don't start playing?
Well, this is why I'm asking you. Find me a guitar. And
I will find you one.
I will play at home.
I will.
I have a guitar. It's an electric. I want an acoustic, so it's not such a schlep to set it up and my neighbors get scared and all that stuff.
No. Well, and you can't go to a bluegrass festival with an electric guitar.
No, exactly. I'll be
Sacrilege.
treated, right. It's like when Bob Dylan went electric.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
except
nobody liked
worse. Like even worse. Even worse.
So you also sing
I do.
beautifully.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And did you always do that, or was that something you decided to learn to do along the way?
No, that was much later. So I tried to be in choir in middle school, but I was such a serious classical violin player that I didn't have time to do. Because so my life from the time I was like 11 or 12 would be I would go to school and I would come home. I would go dance ballet for 1 hour, like twice a week, but then I would practice violin for 3 hours a day.
Okay.
And that was like my life.
Okay.
So, I really put my time in with the violin. I mean, imagine doing something 3 hours a day, every day from the time you're like 12 years old. That's insane.
Yeah.
And we all wonder why I got disenfranchised.
Disenchanted.
Disenchanted, sorry. I'm just not signing up for classical music anymore. This was like, I was so serious about this one thing. What were we actually talking about? I
Singing.
forgot. Singing. No.
Yes.
Okay. So singing was never something that I had time for. And I always wanted to be a harmony singer. And through bluegrass.
Like a background singer?
Well, yeah, just like singing backups, in harmony with somebody. Like I was attempting to do with Rebecca today, and failing miserably. I tried and I was like, I can't hear anything. People are talking.
I heard you doing it. I saw you turn away.
I definitely was like, microphone.
Yeah, I could still hear you though. The microphone picked you up.
Shit.
Yeah.
Now I know.
It sounded fine.
But so through playing bluegrass music, which I started playing this music when I was like 22 or 23. And through that, then I started feeling comfortable singing. But, I was like a senior in high school and I was listening to all these Joni Mitchell recordings and like Jane Monheit and Ella and Billy and like all these jazz singers.
Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, it would be so great if I could just like be a jazz singer.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be fun to just like pull a Nina Simone and like sit down and just like play piano? And I mean, how silly of me. I mean, she was like incredible. There's no way I could spend 100 hours I could spend 1,000 hours at the piano and I'd never know half of what she knows. Not even probably a tenth
Was
of
she
what
that great
knows.
of a piano player?
Oh, honey. So she was accepted to Juilliard and then they figured out she was black and they wouldn't let her study there.
Really?
Yeah, she was going to go to Juilliard as a vocalist and a piano performance major. I mean, she was truly an amazing musician, Nina Simone.
Yeah. Oh no,
Incredible.
I know. But I didn't
Yeah.
know she was that accomplished on
yeah.
piano.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
She is like next level. And she had all of the
Nina.
technical proficiency. But so, I had flirted with the idea of jazz vocals and I just love Joni so much. And I've really, in the last, few months, I've really been devoting myself to her catalog. There's this one record, The Hissing of Summer Lawns, and I think I've listened to it like probably 20 times a week for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And it's just like starting to be ingrained in my brain, which is so cool. But that, that kind of like neo soul, like almost, it's not like Louis Armstrong-y jazz.
No.
It's like this very cool Mingus-y, Thelonious Monk kind of stuff. And
Joni Mitchell.
yeah. Oh man. And
What was her? I mean, of course I know who she is, but I couldn't tell you what her big hit was. Was it Pave the Parking Lot or whatever?
Yeah. Well, so like that record Blue that she put out kind of like put her on the map. But
And what was on that?
The Paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pave Paradise, put up a parking lot.
Exactly. And like Case of You, the song Blue.
Did she
There's
do the one? I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. Is that her? Who's that?
I have no idea.
You know the
what
song,
that
though.
is. No.
No?
I have no idea.
I did a perfect rendition of it, so I don't know. I don't know how you couldn't know that.
Alexa. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's Shazam when you need it?
I know, right?
I don't know. It's I don't know who does that. I thought that was her all along, but I guess not. Anyway, so Joni Mitchell, big influence.
Joni's been like super important to me in the last few years, and especially recently because she's somebody who's completely unafraid of existing exactly as she is. She writes the things she wants to write. She says the things she wants to say, and
Sure.
it's all
And you know what?
unadulterated.
I would too if I had millions of dollars.
But she didn't have millions of dollars in the 70s, honey, when she was writing all
but
that.
she was part of a movement at that point.
Right.
If I was part of a movement that had balls, which no movements have balls these days.
They really don't.
No, they're all saccharine.
It's true.
But if I was part of that and also at that age, I'm not at that age anymore, but I was in my 20s and part of a movement, I would have said anything or whatever. Strength in numbers and all that,
Absolutely.
And then after the numbers dissipate because life scatters you to the wind, then at that point I would have had the millions of dollars and I'd be like, I have FU money, so I'm going to say and do whatever I want.
Well, and I do think that it's super cool that so many people have recorded her songs. But there are still folks who don't really know who she is. Like the Counting Crows did that Big Yellow Taxi song with Michelle Branch, and that was on the Billboard Top 40 for ages.
And I think certain musicians, Joni Mitchell, maybe Joan Baez, but Bob Dylan especially, are much more beloved when someone better than them covers their song.
I would agree with that statement.
I think Eric Clapton did a really good job of making Bob Dylan sound good because he liked Bob Dylan and he did a few of his songs, but every rendition that his version of every Bob Dylan song that he ever did was just like,
I agree.
it's like like Bob Dylan's good enough at writing out an idea for a song.
Right.
And then he'll record it with his voice.
Right.
And then someone comes along who's way better than he is, and they go, this would be good as a reggae song. And then Clapton comes out and he does Knocking on Heaven's Door as a reggae song.
And allow me to make you a bunch of money in the process, right?
Yeah, you're welcome, Bob.
Well, so my favorite Dylan record is Nashville Skyline.
Okay.
And that is a departure from Dylan's trademark style. I mean, he really, truly sings on that record.
Is that where Lay Lady Lay is on?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
because that's the one song. I knew that song for years, and then somebody told me it was Bob Dylan, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's not Bob Dylan.
God.
And it is.
Well, and when he's in Lay Across My Big Brass Band.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Does he
God.
do it that
I
way?
literally am just like,
Really?
Yeah, it is so good.
You're turned on by Bob Dylan.
It's not that I'm turned on. I just feel like it's like that my hair's all standing. Okay, maybe I'm turned on. All right, fine. Maybe I'm turned on.
Bob Dylan. Oh my God, I don't stand a chance if Bob Dylan's getting you going.
Oh man. Well, he got that Dylan money, baby. He
Yeah,
got that
that's
Dylan
true.
money.
I don't have the Dylan money. Now, what about Jacob Dylan? He's younger. He's closer to our age.
It's funny.
Well-
So, did you see? He made this documentary. Oh, I'm trying to remember. He made some documentary, and I was watching it, and I was like, God, you do look just like your dad. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. Well, it's interesting when a child looks somewhat like the parent.
It was about Laurel Canyon, where
Oh, I
Joni,
saw that.
where Joni and all the boys,
Yeah.
the Eagles and everybody used to live.
Wasn't it called Laurel Canyon?
Probably, yeah.
I saw that. That was fascinating.
It was fascinating,
Yeah.
and they have was it Sarah Bareilles who came in and sang a bunch of great musicians
Yeah.
were on it, and they did this big tribute concert and everything. It
Yeah,
was very
yeah.
cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But I did find him to be a bit pedantic and kind of boring.
Sorry, Lois, you are shallow and pedantic.
a little bit. I did. I'm sorry. I was kind of like, all right, let's see you more. All these other talented people.
Did you meet him?
No, when I was watching it, of course I've
Oh,
never
yeah,
met
yeah,
him.
okay.
But I was like watching it, and I was like, darling, you're very boring. Like,
Well, what did he do besides that one album with the one
with the
hit off
wallflowers.
of it? Yeah, with the wallflowers.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, that's the thing about now there's just so many of everything now that it's hard to keep track of what people have been doing for 20 years. And then it's like, there's like this ebb and flow of, all you hear is this person's name and whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gone.
Yeah.
And then 20 years goes by, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, remember me? And then it's like Jacob Dylan on the Remember Me tour. And then,
And you're like, dude, I don't want to. I'm moved on.
it's
I'm
like,
moved
yeah.
on.
I don't know how many times I can listen to One Headlight before I get sick of you. Like, what else are you going to play for me that I'm going to like?
There's one lady that I am very excited to be following, and that's Brandi Carlile. She is
Why do I know that name?
divine. So I didn't get into her until recently. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. But
Sharing Altoids.
we are. Relax. Okay. It's just a mint.
It's curiously strong.
Can we get an endorsement?
I would love that.
Wouldn't that be
I
fabulous?
would love some Altoids money. Then we can get a catamaran and go to the Bahamas.
Sail to the Caribbean. Rebecca, are you coming with us to the Caribbean? She's like, come in.
We'll just sit on the catamaran and play music all day. I'll
Perfect.
steer, and you guys play music. Yeah, perfect.
I love it.
All right, go ahead.
Brandi Carlile, she's amazing. She's a songwriter. She grew up so poor. I think she grew up in the Ozarks, maybe, and kind of made her way to the West Coast and has embarked on this great songwriting career. And her voice is so singular, and she doesn't sound like anybody else, but also sounds like somebody that you've been listening to for a long time.
Okay.
Like, she just has this really familial quality to her. And her most recent record's the one I've been listening to the most. But her breakout was called The Story. That was the song that came out that was kind of like her hallmark. But the new, she actually got a lot of attention recently because she's been doing these Joni Mitchell tribute concerts, and she played at Carnegie to celebrate Blue, Joni's record. And it was, a big deal and sold out and blah, blah, blah. But she's just, I really find her to be an incredible vocalist.
Who
Are you a Brandi fan, Brandi Carlile? Oh, girl. Run out the door right now.
Who would you say overall is your biggest musical influence?
That is so hard.
Have you one?
Can I pick three?
Give me three.
So when we were over at Plowman's anniversary party earlier, and that gentleman came up to me and said he thought I sounded like Doc Watson playing the guitar, I almost had a meltdown because that's like my biggest guitar influence is Doc Watson. And when I play banjo too, that's like where I get a lot of influence from. He was this flat picking guitar player and just like so clean, but had like these really cool little lines he would play where he'd play on two strings at the same time. It was really amazing playing. I mean, just nobody really like Billy Strings, who's blowing up all over the universe.
Yeah.
Is like a second generation. He's kind of trying to do that thing.
Okay.
But he plugs his guitar in and it sounds like shit. And I wish somebody would tell him. I feel like nobody's being honest with him about the way his
Why don't you
guitar
just
sounds.
comment on one of his videos?
Billy, if you're listening. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm sure he listens to this.
Right.
But no, so he plugs in his acoustic, you're saying?
He does, but when you listen.
I don't like that.
But when you listen, well, the problem is he's playing these big places like Red Rocks and these big halls, these big stadiums.
You could still mic it.
The crowd's too loud because his fans are all these wild party animals.
Well, then he needs to get new fans.
He does. I agree.
Yeah. Or start playing different music.
Or just play smaller places.
Yeah.
Just play these quiet
But
little
even
places.
then, they'll be loud.
I guess.
I
don't know.
If that's what he attracts.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's definitely like, it's a different vibe. Like, I would love to sit and just listen to, like, I would gladly pay top dollar to sit in the front row and just listen to him play guitar, Billy, because I think he's a great guitar player.
Right.
But he plugs this in, and the boys all plug in, and they're all wearing tie-dye, and they got this light show, and there's all these smoke machines going off, and I'm like, I'm about to have a seizure. This is like too much for me. I came for the music, not for the party.
Right.
But I think I'm in the minority. So, and it's sad because he's such a great guitar player. So Doc Watson's a huge influence for me. Joni's a huge influence for me. And
how about on fiddle?
This gentleman, Ricky Simpkinson, I've been spending time with. I mean, I've been a huge fan of his for like 2 or 3 years now, and listening to his stuff. I mean, he's a master.
Now explain a little bit about this guy, because he's you just said that he just came off the road in 2019 from touring with Joni Mitchell.
With Emmylou Harris.
Emmylou Harris.
Yeah, so Ricky's originally from Kentucky, and he moved up to Virginia, and he was in a ton of bluegrass bands. This great band called the Virginia Squires, which is like very famous bluegrass band.
Of course, we've all known that.
You're like, yes, the Virginia Squires.
The Beatles, the Eagles, the Doors, and the Virginia Squires. Those are my 4 favorite bands.
I'm trying to think of the song they covered. Think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today.
Yeah,
Ticket
the Beatles,
to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
So they covered Ticket to Ride on one of their records.
Yeah.
And now all the bluegrass bands covered it because they did this super high octane cover of Ticket to Ride, which is hilarious. But
did you ever see A Mighty Wind? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so on the soundtrack, it's not in the movie, but on the soundtrack, and they actually, when the movie was out, they released this as a single from the soundtrack that was played all over the place, mostly on classic rock stations, but they did a bluegrass version of Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones.
No way.
Oh, you've never heard it?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I can't wait.
It's really, you know what? I might be, because this isn't going out in the vast public there, so I can probably get away with the copyright. Here, bear with me a second here. I'm just going to mark that, and I'm going to pull this up real quick. Don't worry, we'll get you out of here.
No, you're fine. I'm just dying to play with Rebecca.
Okay,
you guys are in for a real treat.
Okay.
Me and Rebecca Foster are going to play some music.
What was their name? Shit. Start Me Up, A Mighty Wind. And I'm going to play this for you so that you... Okay, here it is. All right. So listen here.
It's Taco Bell.
Oh, shut up with your commercials, YouTube. God damn it. I can't stand these commercials. All right, here we go. It's going to start up and you're going to love it. Here it is. Like, it's awesome, right?
That's so good. Can you text that to me,
Yes,
please?
I will. I will send it
Also,
to you.
can that be like my intro music?
Sure, we'll start it off with this.
So funny.
Sarah. But no, so the thing I like about bluegrass, though, is that when bluegrass people cover like a pop song and do a bluegrass version of it, it's I don't know, like it almost makes the song better, or maybe it just shows you how good the song is if you can change the genre to bluegrass.
Full disclosure, when you said that and you were like, "Start me up," in my brain, I started singing Wham's "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go."
Oh, that's the
and
song
I was
you were
like,
thinking of?
That would make a great bluegrass song. So it's true. So the true testament to a song's veracity is, can it be translated across genres, right?
Right.
And I actually really like that.
That's what
I
I'm
really
saying.
like what I just heard.
I really do too. Here, now we've been talking about Bear Waltz. So I just pulled it. I'm pulling it up here off of
Are you going to make me listen to it?
I'm going to make you listen to it.
God. Okay.
And we want to go through it here. Oops. Okay, hold on. Let me start it from the beginning. Now we're going to go through it. Now we were recording this in a camper with one microphone and someone mowing the lawn outside.
Yes, that is a true story.
So that is that. But let's go through and see. Oh, this is the slow version.
That's okay.
Like, listening to it slowed down like this. I miss me mother. You know?
I know. My dearest love, it's been 2 weeks since I left you. And I think about you every waking minute.
Thank you, Sarah.
Right?
Thank you
No,
so
but that's
much.
seriously what is.
Oh, what?
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I thought you
it's
were
like,
getting amorous with me. I'm
no,
sorry.
but it's like it's been a fortnight since I left your heaving bosom or whatever.
Yes. Yes, I can't stop thinking about your heaving bosom.
I'm sorry, that's like the height of romanticism to me. That's all
Heaving
I know.
bosoms?
Yeah, heaving-
Be careful on that stool. If you lean back too far, it might kill you because it's been known to fall out from under people.
Are you
Yes.
I gotta watch more of these podcasts.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, we have a couple where people are like, "Whoa!" It's a great visual. But no, let's get back to this a little bit. Oh, that was it.
Like, let's get back to the end of this.
And that's the end of it. But no, so I had to slow that down because I was like, this is very versatile. I can use it for different things. And one thing I like to do is, go from the slow to the up tempo one. And it's I don't know. It's just such a nice song. It's a pretty song.
I'm really glad that you like it so much.
I love it.
And I'm really glad that the
it.
patrons like it so
They
much,
do.
too, and that they talk about it. Because, you write these things and you create these songs, and it's rare, when you function on the level that I function on, it's rare that you get any feedback. So it's nice that, somebody likes it.
Yeah,
I like hearing that somebody likes it.
I hear from people all the time about it that, because, with a podcast, you release it in, June of 2019. But as long as you have it out there, people are discovering it all, through the future,
Right.
And so I'm always hearing from people that I love it, it was great. And that song, where'd you get that music, So yeah, there's
I got it from the taco girl.
I don't know. This girl made me tacos. The next thing I know, I'm recording her. Okay, so it's a guitar. What was the guy's name that's your idol on guitar or your influence?
Oh, Ricky on fiddle. Ricky Simpkins.
Oh, Ricky Simpkins, right.
Ricky Simpkins,
Right.
yeah. So he played with the Virginia Squires, and then he went on to play with the Tony Rice unit for a long time, and that was his main gig.
Okay.
And Tony Rice passed away about a year and a half ago, but he was the foremost American flat-picking guitar player who ever lived.
Now, you said flat picking twice. What is that as opposed to regular picking?
It's so a flat picking is when you just have one pick and you're just playing everything with one pick, as opposed to having like finger picks or playing finger style. Flat picking is just playing.
So playing with a pick.
With a pick,
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
But
So it's not a particular type of picking.
No,
with a pick. It's just.
But it is like kind of stylistic. Like there's certain hallmarks of the style. Like there's this technique where you will do like roll patterns across several strings, where you like pick out little different string patterns and stuff like that. So it is kind of like a distinctive thing.
Okay.
It's not just playing with a pick.
Okay.
It's more than that. But yeah, so, and Tony had passed away. So Tony had retreated from the spotlight probably about 15 years before he died. And he was, just kind of hanging out. So Ricky had to find a new gig, and he was playing with Robert Plant. Did some gigs with him and Emmy Lou, and then he was also playing with a band called The Seldom Scene, which is a pretty well-known bluegrass band out of the DC area. And they're called The Seldom Scene because they all had day jobs. So like Seldom Seen, like you don't catch them very often.
Yeah, okay, I got you. The band is Seldom Seen.
Exactly.
Sure.
But so he was playing with them for a while. He stopped playing with them in 2017 when he had some health stuff. And then in 2019, he retired from Emmy Lou's band, and then Corona hit. So he's still been like recording and stuff from his home. But, I just called him up and I said, I'd like to come over and take a lesson from you. And I got there and he was like, much rather we just sit around and play fiddles together. So we just sit around for a few hours every week and play fiddles.
So that's kind of what I was trying to get at before, was that this guy is renowned in the bluegrass world.
Yeah, and just like the general acoustic music world. I mean, he's an amazing banjo player too, and man, he's just like a great musician, great singer.
But he's good enough to be playing with Emmylou Harris.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gig, right?
I mean,
take that gig.
Yeah, of course, sure.
Emmylou, if you're listening, no, I'm just kidding.
She actually is a big supporter of the show.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, Emmylou Harris.
She's got a lot of weird habits. I wouldn't be surprised.
She loves Gettysburg history. So you get to play with him and everything, but you ask him for a lesson, and he says to you, girlfriend, there ain't nothing I can teach you that you don't already know.
In so many words, yeah.
And so you say, great. Let's just jam.
Can we just be friends?
Can we just be friends?
Yes.
And so you hang out with this guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it must be, he's someone that you know, his reputation precedes him. You know who he is, you know his ability and everything. And for him to say to you, I can't teach you anything. You've got it, girl.
Well, my journey to him, I liken to like the students in martial arts who like have to climb a mountain to get to the temple, and then they get to the temple, and and it's like
a
master,
pizza and beer party.
No, like the master like welcomes them in and cooks for them and like takes the wrappings off their feet and says like you're here now and like you're in this moment and everything's going to be much easier. You already did the hard part. And
so he unwrapped your feet the first time you played together.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Unbound my feet. No, it's just like it feels like I've been on this long journey and now I'm finally getting to like relax and enjoy it a little bit, which is like really cool. That's a really cool feeling. And I'm enjoying playing music so much more.
You know, what's funny is the older we get, the easier things become.
Isn't that shit? That's crazy. Isn't that
so
some shit?
it's just a sign that you're getting old.
Oh, good.
Because it's getting easier.
Keep telling me that. It's so great.
I mean, really, the older you get, the more it all just kind of... I think a part of it is because when you get older, a big chunk of you naturally, this isn't a conscious decision, but naturally, a big chunk of you says, I don't fucking care. And then you leave it at that.
I ain't doing that no more.
Ain't nobody got time for that, right? That's what you say. And you don't do anything that you don't want to do because you know how to tell if something is a waste of your time or not. Whereas when you're young, everything's new, everything's exciting. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. Things come your way and you want to say yes to everything because you never know. This could be my big break and you got stars in your eyes and big dreams and everything. And then by the time you hit 30, you're kind of like, all right, well, it's starting to slow down. I better learn to just enjoy my life instead of all this stuff. And then, but forget it. When you hit 40, Sarah, forget it. It's over.
You mean in like 15 years?
Yeah, in 15 years when you hit 40. Well, you still got time. Rebecca is more like 15 years.
She is like 15 years.
She's got time.
Isn't she gorgeous? Can we get her to play some music with
me?
She
is. Yeah, think? We're going to do that. We're going to do that in a second. Right. Well, what I want to do is I want to make these separate things. So I'll end this with you, and then we'll do that with her.
Okay.
So, where do you all right? Do you have? Here's something that I'm trying to talk you into, and ladies and gentlemen in the audience, you can help me pressure her to do this. Sarah and I were talking earlier, and you were saying that you think you need to move to Nashville, and get a job as like a fiddler in some, in Kenny Chesney's band or something.
Gun for hire.
Yeah, gun for hire, right.
Do the finger guns like make it more legit?
Well, I would hire you. And I say no. I say malarkey. And what was the other thing you said? You wanted to get a record deal, right? So that you could...
Well, I don't even need a record deal. There's like two options here. So I could go be a side man and like make that my life and try to like get a good gig.
Okay.
Or I could try and embark on my own as a front man.
Now, I think you should do the front man thing.
I know.
I don't.
Front person.
Yeah, I don't think you are a background person at all.
Yeah, but like I'm good at that.
You're good
and
at that.
And I've done it. I've done it.
You're good at that. You've done it, but it doesn't mean that's where you belong. You understand what I'm saying?
But I feel like if I did that high octane side man thing, it would give me a bigger tool chest with which to build my front man universe.
No, you could definitely get a bigger chest, but I don't know if.
Sorry, all I can think about is heaving bosoms.
Heaving.
Sorry.
Yes, you can definitely get a bigger chest and heave your bosoms my way. But careful, don't fall back. Don't fall. Okay, good. No, seriously, you can definitely get more experience, and you can learn to see someone else do it, and you're just kind of sitting by and playing. I get it. You can learn more, but I'm telling you, woman, you have got it already. You don't need that. You have got it. You are free to do whatever you want to do. And I say, let's build a world around you.
Here in Gettysburg.
Wherever, but yes, you should also move to Gettysburg. But I mean, even if it's where you are, it doesn't matter. I am telling you, and this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I need your help with. We need to convince her that she needs to start a Patreon account. I believe firmly with every fiber of my being. I have 250 patrons as of today.
That's amazing. Are you serious?
Yes, and I think you will get that in your first 2 months.
I'm not trying to like act surprised. I'm just like,
well, you should be
that's
surprised.
Incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised, so you should absolutely be surprised.
Oh my God.
No, we do.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it's taken 2 years to accumulate. Mm-hmm. Right? I think you could get 250 in 2 months. What's your following on Instagram and Facebook? Do you have how many?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. I haven't been on my Instagram account in a long time. But last time I was there, I think I had like 2,000 followers.
Okay, 2,000 followers. How about on Facebook?
Well, I have like 3,500 friends, and then across the different like Facebook pages that I have, probably like a total of like 5,000.
Okay, so you have a big pool.
Is that a big pool?
Well, for someone who's just starting out with things
and doesn't like do anything,
and hasn't really been like trying to get a social media game, that's really good.
Okay.
Because you haven't tried to get 5,000, but you have 5,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. I've been trying to get 5,000, and we've got like 2,500.
Oh, all right.
On Facebook, and about 3,800 on Instagram. So I quit trying.
I know, but your Instagram game is like fire, honey.
Well, not anymore, because I got bored with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll tell you something. The numbers.
Do you need a tweeters?
Huh?
You need a tweeters? Tweeters.
Oh, what about it?
Do you want to tweet instead?
I hate Twitter.
Me too. I don't get it.
It's a cesspool.
Are you TikToking?
No, I don't get that either. It disturbs me.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing 13-year-olds doing these dances and their fathers joining them.
Weird.
It's weird.
That's weird.
It's not cute.
Like, for the sanctity of your own home.
Yes, please
right?
Stop with this. I don't want to see what it's like in your house. I don't want to see you doing twerking with your daughter.
That is creepy.
It's not cute. It's
also,
not cute.
If my daughter ever or my son ever comes home and twerks, and they're under the age of 18. They are getting locked away with no cell phone.
If my daughter or son came home at the age of 50 twerking, I'd shoot them.
Take their cell phone away at the age of 50.
Yeah. End their life. I'd be like, just because you're an adult with your own kids and your own mortgage doesn't mean I can't kill you.
For some reason, I can totally see you as a 90-year-old man, just like beating your 50-year-old child.
At the rate I'm going.
Being like, get off Instagram.
Yeah. Stop with that shit. It rots your brain. At the rate I'm going, I'll be a 90-year-old by the time I actually have a child. So I'm not even going to get to that point where I'll get to meet them at 50 or know them by 50.
Some of us are late bloomers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so late, it's like midnight. Most people they bloom by 5 p.m., but I'm like blooming at midnight. Everybody's asleep.
Oh my God, stop.
Nobody can see it. But seriously, Sarah, what were we talking about?
We're talking about you want me to get a Patreon up and running. All right, listen,
and
if I get one up and running, will you stop ragging on me to get one up and running?
Well, yeah, but then I'm going to just promote it.
Oh, all right. Well, that's fine.
And then because I think that the listeners of this show, the audience in the on Patreon especially, they're very supportive. Look, 4 years ago, I thought I was worthless, invaluable to society, and was ready to end it. Oh. And then, luckily, though, I still had some sanity in my head, and I said, this is not the way to think, and I changed it. I turned it around. And all of a sudden now, 250 people are willing to give me their hard-earned money so that I can keep doing what I'm doing, which I love to do, but obviously they love to hear it, or so they tell me. And now, we have way more downloads and everything on our free podcast feed. Well, it's free. Of course you're going to have more, right? But I don't think those people love us. I don't think they appreciate what we do because it's free and they don't spend a dime.
Right.
But the people that are actually willing to like give me money every month, I believe those people when they tell me something. If they tell me this was good, or if they tell me, man, I think you jumped the shark, or I tell you, whatever it is, I believe them because they like me enough to give me money, right? And it's a sacred thing to me. I believe you will get at least 250 in the first 2 months. This is the bet I'm willing to make. We're going to write it down, and we're going to bet $30, okay? Just a $30 bet.
All right.
You'll get $250, $30 or a big kiss.
$250.
Okay. $30.
All right.
Big smooch.
Big old smooch.
Yes.
Are we specifying where the smooch is happening, or is it just a smooch?
On
I see. Look at him. He's like, we're about to take notes.
Well, we're going to take notes here. Smooch could be on any part of the body.
Just like on the top of your head. Can I just like smooch you right on the top?
Top of my head? Forget that.
Let me. He's like,
forget the smooch.
New deal.
Forget it. No bet. Go ahead. See how you do on Patreon. No, but seriously, I think you could do it. And here's why. You play music. You play it beautifully. People love it. You're also teaching. You're doing something that is in this day and age of everybody being miserable and unhappy and dark. You're showing some, or you're sharing some light, and it makes people feel good. And if supporting you can help it so that you have more time to focus on teaching students as opposed to getting some job at the marina or something like that, I think people would be willing to do it. You just have to be honest with them. You have to tell them what you're doing and what you want to accomplish. And I think you'll find plenty of people who will do it.
All right.
And if you do it, I will sacrifice one of my, in other words, I'll be a patron of yours, is what I'm saying. And the way they do it when you're a creator is they just take it out of your monthly and then they put it over to you.
All right.
So I will be willing
to get,
and I've never done that for anybody else. You're trying to take my money.
I'm dying to take your money.
Well, you can have it. You can have it. Seriously. So I think you should do it. And of course, you know, anything that I can help you with, I'll help you do, because I believe in you, Sarah. You don't understand. I was not a person who would see someone more talented than me and go, oh, I have to shine a light on this person. I was the person that was like, get me away from that person. I want to kill them.
They're dimming my own light.
Yes. But then I got my head on straight and I realized, no. That's
not the way it works.
It's beautiful that someone has more talent than me.
Well, and that's a really good lesson to learn.
It is.
And we were talking about that earlier. Like, you only want, in any universe, all you want to do is like elevate the people around you. Right?
A rising tide lifts all ships.
I like that.
Yes.
I'm stealing that.
I didn't make it up, so
Great.
Go ahead.
Awesome.
It's been around since the dawn of time. So yeah, take that and just remember that. And yes, and that's what I'm trying to do is like, that's why we have other podcasters on this show. Do you think they invite me back on theirs? No.
Boo hiss. Podcasters.
No, but you know what? I don't care. You know why? Because I get more listeners than they do. So it doesn't matter. They need me. I don't need them.
That's true.
Okay.
That's very true.
So now it would just be nice to go and have somebody ask me the questions for once instead of me ask them questions.
Yeah, but you're an excellent interviewer.
Yeah, but I'd like to be interviewed once in a while. You think I'm a good intervieer? I'm a better guest.
All right. Well, listen, if
Remember
I get my
when
Patreon.
Charles Grodin used to go on, you don't remember this.
I don't. I have no idea who that is. But if I get my Patreon up and running, you can come and do a Q&A with me and we'll talk about scoring. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
We could talk about scoring. That would be cool.
Let's talk about scoring.
Not like scoring music for something.
Oh, God
Calm
damn
down,
it.
everyone.
Jesus, another thing I got to cross off the list. Oh, scoring music. Yeah, that's fun. Whoop-de-frickin' do.
Thank you for inviting me to come talk with you about my music.
I can't wait to go down to Annapolis on a boat so I can talk about scoring music. All right, listen. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll help you. Let me help you set it up.
Okay.
Seriously.
That sounds good. Actually,
Let me help you set it up.
That would be good.
And I'm telling you, you'll do great with it.
All right.
People love you.
Well, I love you. Thank you so much
know
for
you
having
do.
me here today.
I know you do.
And I greatly appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. And like I said, I want to record more stuff with you music-wise and everything like that for the narratives, but we got time because those take forever and a day for me to do. But thank you for inviting me over to the Plowman thing. It was great spending the day with you and watching you play. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and we will talk to you next time. All right. That's the end of that one.
Perfect.
All right, so now you guys are going to play.
Yes.
That was very enjoyable.
Was it entertaining?
Oh, yeah,
okay, good.